There's a place in Ukraine where ancient reefs still remember when they were at the bottom of the Sarmatian Sea. The living organisms populating this sea died off and accumulated, having created from their remains a huge barrier reef. Over the edges, about 13 million years ago, the sea receded to the southeast, leaving a hilly formation called the Podilski Tovtry on the surface. What makes this chain of hills covered with forest and rank vegetation so unique? In comparison with the Carpathians and other mountains, which formed as a result of the collision of tectonic plates, the Tovtry are the only mountains of organic origin in their nature. This is one of 7 wonders of Ukraine. The Medobory Nature Reserve was created on the peak of the Podilski Tovtry Mountains in the 1990s. It covers an area of 10,000 hectares in the Ternopil Oblast. Nature, together with its inhabitants, is preserved there. This is a place where no human foot may tread. Only some scientific researchers enter the territory of this unique natural habitat without obstacles. For 20 years now, Yaroslav Kapelukh has been walking along these village paths towards the nature reserve.
Я починав роботу на посаді орнітолога. До мене вже були.
I started my career as an ornithologist. My predecessors did not succeed in moving beyond the inventory of species composition, so I had to master new methods of ornithological research, plot routes, and get to a new level of studies of the indigenous populations. 195 birds inhabited the territory of the nature reserve. Yaroslav determines many species of birds by their singing, flight, and footsteps. You will hear neither the whack of an axe nor the sound of a saw in this nature reserve. A person has no right to carry on any business here. If someone is engaged in building here, it is an ordinary or gray woodpecker, the most common bird species in these places. Everything happens here under natural law, and man only creates favorable conditions for that. There are special eco routes for tourists who enter this protected area. Marks and trees show the directions.
Досить рідкісний вид жука.
This is a very rare species of beetles, a ground beetle. Carabus intricatus is one of the endemic species. This insect is not rare in our nature reserve, but it is virtually impossible to see it in a trap ditch or along the roadside. With the coming of the cold season, it is not so easy to see any insect even in the Medobory Nature Reserve, though in spring and summer you will see here at least 1,100 species of insects.
За прогнозами науковців,
According to scientists, about 15,000 insect species live in Podilski Tovtry. Just imagine a person who can see, catch, and study such a great number of insect species. I can hardly imagine it. So we keep track of the populations and invite subject matter experts to join us in our research of this nature reserve.
А вже потім просити таких вузьких ентомологів, науковців.
This is a wild corner of the planet. 9/10 of the nature reserve is covered with hornbeam and oak forests, but sometimes you can see oases of steppe and meadow grasses on the rocky hills. The local flora is rich in rare endemic species of plants. Damaging nature is severely punished. Here, a human gives a chance for nature to restore and leaves a large part of it untouched.
В даній ситуації тут на схилі результати недавнього вітровалу.
Here on this slope you can see the results of recent gusts of high wind. A strong wind blew and broke even the thick tree trunks. Obviously, a few of them have already been infected. A weak root system could not withstand the powerful winds and fell together with the roots. As a rule, a large fallen tree breaks 2 or 3 adjacent trees. This is the result of natural selection.
Падають і ламаються навіть великі, здорові дерева. Ну тут в даній ситуації картина осики, яка
In this case, a quacking asp has a weak wood tissue, so it easily breaks and falls. Moreover, the quacking asp is already older than its usual age. Note that the dead trees remain to lay in the place where they fell. The trees remains unremoved only from the places where they create obstacles on the hiking routes. In general, people do not interfere in the natural processes, preserving the habitat for insects, mushrooms, and soil enrichment. Even rotten wood is beneficial for the maintenance and development of biodiversity in nature. Unfortunately, we came to Medobory too late to enjoy the flowering of mellifluous grasses, but we saw plenty of mushrooms, including poisonous fungus. Among the most poisonous mushrooms which grow on the territory of the nature reserve, there are not only dead amanita, but also a panther amanita. A distinctive feature of all panther amanitas is the bulb at the beginning of its type. When the mushroom sprouts, it breaks the bulb, which turns into such a rouge. Such a mushroom decoration is a warning of danger. This is also a panther amanita. It differs from that one, but it also has a similar rouge.
Ми з вами зараз на вершині Товтр.
Now we're in the pinnacle of the Tovtry Mountains, and a forest of natural origin surrounds us. Many consequences of human intervention with nature, when the reserve had not yet existed here, are irreversible processes. To evaporate lime from limestone, local residents mercilessly felled oak trees, even the age-old unique giants. However, this is not the only reason for the forest's mortality. Now you can see tall and strong smooth elm, which feels very nice despite the fact that smooth elm and elm trees eventually dry up. The main reason for this is the so-called Dutch elm disease. As a result of it, the trees become weak if the soil does not have the right level of humidity. Young elm trees have almost dried up, but this tree with its strong trunk is practically resistant to the Dutch elm disease. It is believed that those who get to the cave of the hermit through the wild forest of Medobory will be cured of diseases, enriched in spiritual power and energized. Experienced people consider this place to be holy. Maybe for that reason a folk trail does not grow towards it. A cliff aptly called the Fingers of Dragons was a shelter for hermits back in pagan times. The cliff really looked like 5 fingers of a hand, but over time 2 fingers had broken off, and the remaining 3 hang over the entrance to the cave. The story of this cave is age-old. It is hollowed out in a limestone deposit that is open on the surface. This man-made cave and its initial entrance was there where today there is a light window. The first hermits settled on this small cell. Over time, they decided to enlarge their shelter. Hollowed out another room, moved the entrance to it, and walled the original entrance. As a result, 2 cells appeared in this huge limestone block. It is known only about the last 3 residents of the cave. It is unknown who lived there before, but we can say for sure that the cave was a refuge for hermits before Christianity. A pagan symbol above the entrance is undeniable proof of this fact. It still remains a mystery who started building the cave of the hermit and in what century. However, this cave has many secrets and riddles. One of them is a small steppe island that suddenly appeared amidst the wild forest.
На цій ділянці ми можемо спостерігати цікавий феномен живучості степу посеред лісового масиву.
On this site, we can observe the phenomenon of the vitality of the steppe surrounded by a forest. Such a small piece of the steppe has been struggling for survival against a powerful forest for a very long time. It fights practically alone because there are no other steppe areas in the nearest district. The fact is that young trees, sprouting from seeds, dry up having barely grown. For example, this ash also dries up, although it is strong enough. The only oak that could grow on this steppe site gradually burned. This glade has another anomaly. As a rule, when there was thunder, lightning struck exactly this oak tree. The tree burned up, but the flame faded by itself. It happened several times a year until the strong tree finally burnt up. The scientists could not give a clear explanation of these wonders, and the inhabitants of these places could not explain the miraculous power of the water sources that they found several thousands of years ago. The water sources cured them and gave them vital power. Therefore, they were called sacred springs. In fact, the magic properties of Medobory sources have a completely scientific explanation. It is due to the chemical composition of limestone, through which the water of Healing Spring flows. Each of them has a unique and innate effect on the human body. This is a spring with hydrogen sulfide water, a living and active one. It gives vital power to people. The taste of water reminds one of the famous Truskavets water, Naftusia. It is said that this water even removes radionuclides from the body and renews blood composition. A less visible brook is a source of glycerin water, which flows on the right bank of this Bruch River. The distinctive feature of the water is that it contains glycerin components. The water truly has very interesting properties. If you take it in your hand, it flows with big drops, and in a moment the water becomes dry. The water drains and wets the skin, and in such a case it prevents the skin from drying. Girls and women use such a natural skincare product with great pleasure. It is not by chance that even foreign guests give preference to this place to restore their health and vital forces. The close proximity of the springs to water, which is completely different in mineral composition, is considered the phenomenon of Podylia. Sources, as well as many streams from the stony canyons, rush down and flow into the tributary of the Dniester, this Bruch River. This river separates the reserve almost through its entire length from the east and flows not only along Tovtry, but also across it, crashing into the ridge and washing a deep canyon. Obviously, this Bruch River started to fret out a channel for itself 12 to 13 million years ago, when the bottom of the Sarmatian Sea rose to the surface, thus lifting the reef barrier. Since then, the river was not only a source of existence for all living beings around, but also served as the frontier first between the Austro-Hungarian and Russian empires. It was a line of separation between Poland and the Soviet Union. Today, the river still serves as a border, but only between oblasts. The Khmelnytsky Oblast is situated on the opposite bank of the river. This is the end of today's program, but we will continue to acquaint you with the amazing wonders of nature on Unexplored Ukraine.